Hello. Welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, a fan channel for all to see. और yes, आज तो literally for all to see है because I know United fans in the house, like आप देख रहे हो United का game है कल, लेकिन आज Chelsea का भी game है. So literally, lot of fan following है. I'm pretty sure जो look forward कर रहे हैं not to tonight, tomorrow, and of course बारसा की भी match होने वाला है. And that is why I thought, best thing is along with EPL talk, I'll have two of the people here, Manchester United Ultras, but of course know the EPL stuff as well. First of all, it is Sadiq Bhai. Sadiq Bhai, welcome back to Almighty Blues FC. All set, United in the knockout. I think been a while, no, for United in the knockouts.
Yeah, last season तो नहीं थे और उससे पहले तो I think qualify भी नहीं कर रहे थे for a couple of seasons in between. So been some time.
Third time lucky maybe, yeah. Oh, that's what you would hope. I'm pretty sure. Lekin certainly good to have you, Sadiq bhai. We'll have a lot of discussion about United, of course, but yeah, a lot more like I said. Lekin Chinmay is back as well. Chinmay, जो आपको नहीं पता है, like he's also a big United fan. And Chinmay, I know banter lover that you are. Pretty sure आपने बहुत banter लिया है last few weeks में with United being so up and down that it has been. Lekin I'm 100% sure you've enjoyed it and you're looking forward to it as well, right?
Yeah, I think the performances have picked up at the right time, and all the banter we've had. Now, suddenly Ronaldo, got a goal about 2 games back. Sancho's absolutely looking the part, and crunch time of the season is here. So now it's time to give back the banter to all the other clubs.
Of course. So यहाँ पर मैं बोलना चाहूँगा दिव्यांश भाई, unfortunately due to family reasons has to kind of travel at this hour. So maybe he'll join, maybe he'll not. Let's see. Hopefully towards the end of the stream he has a link, so hopefully he'll join in. Because yes, certainly उनके बगैर there will be something missing, but hopefully he'll join in. But if not, also Divyansh bhai always is welcome as he's been very often on Almighty Blues FC. लेकिन yes, Chandan आ गए. Don't worry, we are definitely having discussion here. Madrid pundits, big up to you. Please do talk about Ajax, the backline timber, and Martinez underrated. Yes, of course, हम आएंगे. एक game, like I said, United का game ही नहीं. We will be discussing Ajax game, or just for people out there जो miss किए थे कल का बड़ा stream, we definitely covered Chelsea का game, Juventus का game, so do watch that after the stream. We will be taking quick predictions as well from the panel क्योंकि नया panel है. Hopefully we'll have some optimistic predictions, being a Chelsea fan that I am. लेकिन yeah, we have EPL football in midweek, so हम उनके भी predictions लेंगे. And of course to you all, everyone who's joined, please do like the stream. Like I always say, help the channel. Do subscribe. Do consider following Chinmay on social media. The link is below. And of course Divyansh, in case आपने नहीं subscribe किया है, the link is again below. And do take that poll. There is a poll out there आज के predictions के लिए. Yes, Owen Cole says, good evening, lads. Some big games coming up. Absolutely. As an eye for one, love a Champions League night. And that's something that I really love the most. Yes. Interesting. This is for Sadiq Bhai specifically. Of course, people out there, it's Dr. Sadiq in the house. So Sadiq Bhai, just start with this. What do you think?
Well, if he had a concussion in yesterday's game and it was a confirmed concussion, then at least for 48 hours, you're not allowed back on the pitch in any sports these days. With head injuries, they're very particular. So most likely, I don't think Di Lorenzo is coming back then for the Barca game.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad for Napoli. Lekin, yes, we'll come to the predictions as well. And yes, पहले Chelsea वाले ले लेते quickly. Chinmay, क्या लगता है? I'm pretty sure you're going for a surprise result knowing you. लेकिन Chelsea versus Lille, is there a surprise coming up in reality?
I honestly think Lukaku does not need to play if Chelsea want to win this game because there is a time when a striker should play more to come back into scoring ways, but Lukaku, I don't think he needs that right now. He needs a break probably, and so does Chelsea. So I think if they probably don't play Lukaku, I probably think no surprises. Chelsea have a good game today.
Okay, Sadiq bhai, आपको क्या लगता है क्या होगा आज?
Well, I would fairly agree with Chinmay here because with Lukaku, the situation is that Chelsea's game becomes very muddled. You need more of ball players and movement-based players. So Timo Werner, Kai Havertz front would suit better. If Chelsea goes with a Timo Werner, Kai Havertz sort of a front, I am even seeing Chelsea breaking the dam today and going for a 3-4-0. But if you play Lukaku and play the same stagnant style that you've been playing for the last few games, we might see a surprise 1-0 loss as well. I know it's at Stamford Bridge and it's a
Oh.
big call, but if you go with the same setup as the last game, I see
Yeah.
Chelsea actually it being a draw, and then a player like Jonathan David just coming to score at the end of the game and nicking in a late winner.
Oh my God, I hope that doesn't happen. But yes, we have Edgar Davids in the house. Big fan. I was of Edgar Davids. I'm pretty sure Sadiq bhai knows his stuff, and Chinmay as
Oh,
well. That's interesting. But yeah, Lukaku hat-trick coming. Sports Kappa, shout out Sports Kappa ke liye bhi. Let's see. As in, there's basically, like Sadiq bhai said, it's either, as in chalk and cheese kind of difference. And that is what Chelsea se aapko mil raha hai. And wo bhi Man United se bhi mil raha hai in a sense. So let's actually move on to the Man United game because yes, Villarreal Juventus हमने काफी बात की थी. Again, people, we did a proper stream yesterday, so do check it out later on. Man United away at Atletico Madrid, two teams which are basically as in trying as much, लेकिन काफी unpredictable है in terms of results. बहुत सारे question marks हैं in terms of strategy. In both the coaches, Simeone, with the dinosaur tactics, Ragnick trying to implement new tactics. Very interesting. I think एक trivia से शुरू करते हैं. क्या बोलते हो सादिक भाई? I know you love your trivia. So when was the last time that Atletico Madrid and Man United met?
I think it
Anyone
was
knows?
somewhere
Chat में or Chinmay?
I just can't get the thing back. I knew it, but I can't just
Yeah,
recall it.
anyone? Okay, so
No,
I'll
I
give
think
a clue. Like
2011, I think.
most of us were either not born or in our
I can,
diapers.
I can tell you this, that they haven't met at least since I was born. That is what I
Okay.
think.
No,
Okay.
in recent time, no, it was
Thanks for
way back.
telling that we are old.
It was in the 90s, I think.
Yeah, I think because since then I haven't seen.
91-92. He's absolutely bang on. 91-92 था वो था Cup Winners' Cup. Those days we had the Cup
Yeah.
Winners' Cup.
I think
Again, it's from history. मैंने नहीं देखा था. मैं भी basically wasn't in the situation to watch the match. But that is how it's been. Like very strangely इतने सालों में नहीं they've met. But 91-92 में बात करते, right? In that match, I think it was, if I'm not wrong, two-leg affair था. Atletico Madrid came out winners. Knowing 91-92, can you name three players who would have started those games?
I think there could have been Mark Hughes, Peter Schmeichel. I think
Mark?
still was not. Steve
No,
Bruce
not
would have
Peter.
been one of. Steve Bruce
Steve
would have
Bruce,
been one of
yes.
them.
Steve Bruce,
Mark
yes.
Hughes and Paul Ince.
Paul Ince, no, he didn't start that game. Those games.
Okay, he
Maybe
didn't
was
start,
injured,
but I
don't
think he
know.
was part of the team. I think this one,
Pallister?
Robson.
Did
Robson and
Pallister start the game?
तो Pallister came off the bench in both the games. लेकिन हाँ, I think Brian Robson started. लेकिन एक बंदा है बहुत interesting, Mike Phelan, who's basically of course
yes.
Manchester United assistant manager, and recently we all remember that kind of picture behind Gerrard laughing away to glory at Old Trafford. So that was very interesting, some kind of trivia for me. But yeah, certainly as a year already शुरू हो गए. Yes, Bruce is correct. I'm ready. So quickly, let me actually cover the team news क्योंकि हाँ Atletico की बात करें जाए तो I think Yannick Carrasco, from what I know, is probably suspended along with Felipe, and that is something which will be a huge loss.
Three
is it?
games. Three games,
Three
yeah. So he's
games.
suspended for the entirety of his tie, and even if they do go through, he is suspended for the first leg of the next round. So,
Wow.
big
So
miss for him.
at the same time, I don't know, La Liga fans in the house, आप बोलिए. From what I understand, Thomas Lemar he had symptoms of COVID, so there might be a late, kind of test result coming up for Thomas Lemar. So knowing that kind of scenario, Carrasco भी नहीं है आपके पास, Lemar भी नहीं है, and our La Liga expert, that is Sadiq bhai, कौन है option wing पे? Like Atletico like that 4-4-2. We know that, two banks of four. So is there anyone else who can play on the wing?
I think they're probably looking to go with a 3-5-2 rather than a 4-4-2 this time around. They're going for a 3-5-2 and they're trying to involve wing backs. I just opened up something here and a possible predictive line.
What they're saying, what I've read, Sadiq bhai, Griezmann and Suarez, surprisingly, they're going to be on the bench, and they're saying that Korea will be
Korea
starting
and Felix.
with Korea and Felix will be the two up top. They're saying, and they're going to play with wing backs. So if that is the case, all I can say, I don't want to get into very tactical stuff right now early on, but all I can say is United need to defend pretty well in the second half because we don't want tired legs when Griezmann and Suarez come on, because there are 5 subs in the Champions League because of the COVID, of course. So I really hope the defenders have a good role in the game.
Yeah, that's a great point because Korea and Lorente certainly can play on the wings. But again, knowing Atletico and knowing United rather, क्योंकि उनका defense भी इतना अच्छा नहीं रहा है. We know that as much as they have players, they have not been consistent in defense. So maybe I think that's why I have actually predicted 4-3-3 क्योंकि वो एक formation that they have played, or that will basically nullify United in a way. 4-3-3, they go as in like for like, and basically Atletico Madrid are better battlers, put it that way. So maybe that is the way I see it happening. But having said that, Man United के लिए I think Cavani is out. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cavani is still out.
Tell
Is
me,
he an
call,
option?
call me when Cavani is in. Call me when Cavani is in because he.
Cavani technically, technically he's still been reported as doubtful, but when he's reported as doubtful, he's mostly out.
No, I mean these
Right.
days he's reported as completely fit, and then one day before the game they say he's out. So I mean,
Oh
he's
my
just
God.
getting a free deal right now. But I can't blame the
Seriously.
man. There are not everybody can be a Zlatan or a Ronaldo. There are always some niggles when you come to that age, and I really can't blame him. But I think Cavani is the big miss. They're saying Bai is back though, so I think that's something to look out for.
Bai is back exactly. लेकिन हाँ, Daniel was so he's injured as well. He would have been an option, correct? Absolutely. And then I think let's come to the tactics. Like I think Chinmay was telling about tactics. So we'll probably go first. Attack, then midfield, then defense. We'll break it up. I know Sadiq bhai knows his tactics inside out, so that'll be really interesting. So attack की बात करते हैं Sadiq bhai. Elanga. 19-year-old sudden say has burst onto the scene, at least for someone who does not watch every minute of United, although I watch a lot of matches, not a fan, but yeah, as in just a football fan, Lekin, has he proved enough in that last game against Leeds to actually go over Lingard or Rashford in this big game?
See, the issue here is not that has he improved enough, but are Lingard and Rashford in that sort of form right now to play in that big of a game? Because Rashford, honestly speaking, if you see, Sancho has been sublime on the left side. So I don't want to disturb him over there. Let him do what he's doing there and let him continue doing that for how so long he can manage that form. The issue that I'm having here is that on the right side, Rashford looks completely out of his depth. His gameplay, his style, his passing, it just doesn't click on the right side. Along with that, once that aspect of his game goes, he also does not track back. And most likely for a team like Atletico, where you need a more on the ball fullback, you will need someone like Diego Dallo playing on that wing. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was decent in the last match, but that was a horses for courses kind of a circumstance where Leeds is a team that will come at you, and you need a one-on-one defender more than someone who defends space better. So that's where if Diego Dallo comes back, Anthony Elanga has shown a very good knack of tracking back for his fullback. Whether he plays on the left when he used to play with Alex Telles for a few games, or if he plays on the right, he has got a very good work rate that he gives you. So just for the basis of work rate, especially against a team like Atletico, where you have pacey forwards up front if you play Felix and Correa, and also on the wing you have pace, you need someone like Anthony Elanga over there. So in my opinion, I would definitely go for Anthony Elanga. If we are playing Jadon Sancho on the left, play Anthony Elanga on the right. And with Elanga, you have the opportunity that Sancho and Elanga can switch wings very effectively. So, and you have to obviously play, knowing his record against Atletico, Cristiano has to play in the middle.
Yeah, we'll come to that for sure. And we'll come to the exact 11. We'll just break it up, position by position, and wonderfully explained there by Sadiq Bhai as always. Lekin, Chinmay, I think Sadiq Bhai mentioned Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, again, as opposition fans, we love to troll. And he was a Chelsea fan, so मुझे तो और भी लग रहा था यार, चलो, finally Chelsea पे आ जाएगा. Maybe he'll come back home and, to prove. लेकिन नहीं. We spoke a lot. I remember Chinmay about Jadon Sancho जब हो रहा था in terms of the rumors. लेकिन finally looks like he's arrived. I know एक ही गेम है, मतलब maybe last couple of games.
No, this is not. No, एक ही game नहीं है, sir. वही तो बात है.
ज़्यादा है,
The whole month he's been, it's
Yeah.
like looking at Bundesliga Sancho, and it's looking like finally, he's got back whatever he was all about, whatever that money was paid for. And I am a United fan, but I will troll United on this again. That we spent 75 million on a right winger, and he's thriving, but on the left wing. So I think we probably need to go for a right winger again. So but again, for now, I think Sancho's working out pretty well. He's back. He's, as I said at the start of the show, crunch time is back, and you need your best players to step up. And he's a youngster. A lot of people don't remember that. So you've got at least 10, 12 years for a long time if you've got Sancho in the right mood.
That's actually a great point, हाँ, क्योंकि like मैं actually Bundesliga बहुत follow करता हूँ, right? As in Bundesliga, I've actually seen the way he was kind of roaming around, on either wing. He can switch wings for fun. Lekin again, Bundesliga was the Premier League is different. So maybe in recent years, I mean that's what suits him more. Like, why not have him on the left and maybe scout for the right, because Elanga, he's very young. So maybe there is a option to kind of mold him much, or abhi like Sadiq bhai said, he brings something, that different element जो basically other forwards do not bring, and that is something that which makes him the person that he is, or surprise element रहेगा Atletico के लिए for me. But Ronaldo, Sadiq bhai has already touched upon Ronaldo versus Simeone. So इसके लिए पूछते हैं यार, बहुत सारे moments हुए Ronaldo versus Atletico Madrid, right, Sadiq bhai? What is your favorite moment? Like which is a moment which actually deserves to be standing out? Is it the Juventus hat-trick comeback, or would you still go for the 2014 penalty?
Actually, it's both, but that Juventus one is so, I mean, it's so out there.
Out of the box.
And it's not just one moment, it's spread out over two legs. Simeone, being Simeone, what he was as a player, channeling that as a coach. And then, and Simeone always had that, I have the way how to trigger the best stars and they can never reply me back. Dating back to his days with David Beckham, what he did to him, like he could always trigger those stars and those stars never had a chance to answer him back. And for the first time, there was someone who stepped up and said, okay, in your face. Enough said. That kind of a thing. So that was, something that
so
really...
No, please go ahead.
So that's the thing, that it just sort of, if you have a player who can tick off someone of the quality of Diego Simeone, who has lived his life on ticking people off, that's a totally different ball game then that we're dealing with here. So obviously it's that Juventus game in history.
Yeah, लेकिन फिर भी यार मतलब it's I think it's a mental block somewhere, like एक है मतलब Ronaldo has it over Atletico Madrid, or Atletico Madrid have a mental block, it's comes down to that, because it cannot be here time and again. I think kitne 25 goals and 9 assists in 35 appearances. Like I know Ronaldo scores
Ankit bhai, it reminds me of I'll cross sports here. If you remember Michael Jordan's heyday in basketball, he had something against the New York Knicks, especially when he used to go to Madison Square Garden. Even when he played for the Wizards and he was not his same self, he dropped, I think, 35 or 40 at the Garden. So these legends have something for certain teams, and that is like, there is no logical explanation for it, but that's what makes them great.
Absolutely. और हाँ, यहाँ पर एक question आ रहा है. Again, we will address this, but again, this stream is primarily for Champions League, and as a very very big issue, हम definitely बात करने वाले हैं. You will see a video soon on this, and thanks for the comment for sure. And yes, यहाँ पर आयुष बोल रहे, when the starting of the season, people used to tell Sancho a flop player, and now he's showing his quality, and that's football. Unfortunately, वो reactionary होते, short term bias होता है. Having watched Bundesliga, I always knew that Sancho is basically the real deal. As a Chelsea fan, मैं बोल सकता हूँ यार, मतलब Callum Hudson-Odoi is not definitely nowhere close compared to Sancho in terms of ability, in terms of finishing article जो बोलते हैं ना, and that is what Sancho is closer to than Hudson-Odoi. वो दिख रहा भी है in national teams, etc. But talking about Atletico, I don't know, Chinmay, like I know Simeone आप बोल सकते हो कि बहुत पुराने tactics implement कर रहे हैं and all that, but there is somewhere down the line problem with the personnel of Atletico also. Don't you think that Atletico's defense needs to be as in revamped?
Revamped, and they need a rebuild, because I'm scared, because I don't want to see a great coach like Simeone go down the tracks of another. I think the favorite coach for me, apart from Sir Alex, of course, Jose Mourinho, because that is what is happening with Jose now. Old tactics, and they're just catching up with him. And I think even if Simeone wants to, step up with the old park the bus, have all those 11 players defend for you, you need players in the current generation to do that, and you can't always go with old war horses. And I think in the league, you can see, I was just looking over it, and they lost to Levante, if I'm not wrong, I think only a week back. And that tells you that they're not really grinding out results like they used to. Simeone was always the person who always scored a result. Champions League, they were grinding out results. They barely made it past through the Champions League group stages. So that tells you
Yeah.
that they are in a dire problem and they do need to change the personnel. I just hope they don't change the manager, but the results, if they go downhill, you know what happens in football.
Like, dark tactics is what he falls back on finally. Because like Chinmay said, he hit the nail on the head. I think 7 points थे Atletico के in the group stage, and they just about secured that. Or वो last match maybe dark tactics made them get the red card of the opposition, etc. And they came second, and United with flying colors was first. In fact, Ronaldo की बात किए तो he scored what 6 goals, if I'm not wrong, in the group stages. Fantastic achievement itself.
A lot of people who say Ronaldo is the problem, yeah, just have a look at why you are going to be able to stay up on a Wednesday night and watch the game against Atletico. It is because of
Oh
that
yeah,
man. He is the only reason United are in the Champions League, still playing. And a fun fact, I don't know, this is up for all the trivia fans. We have only led for 84 minutes in the whole group 90 into 6 minutes, yeah, so about 540 minutes, and we've only led for 84 minutes. Apart from that, we've
wow.
always been drawing, or we've only been under the pressure. That tells you. And who's been coming up clutch? Mr. Champions League.
Wow, that's a great start, Chinmay. Thanks for that. Like, you're right, Mr. Champions League. It'll not be wrong calling him that. Like, yeah. So to attack, what I understand is you guys are okay with Alanga, along with Sancho and Ronaldo. That's the trio that you would go with, probably.
Yeah,
Again, people in the chat, आप
definitely.
बोलिए attack. Okay, so we'll come to the predictions, people, later on. But yeah, we're just trying, tactically break up, what is a possibility for, Atletico to basically beat United or vice versa. Obviously, parallel to jayegi. And me also, I can see, United kind of being dominant if they are really full throttle. लेकिन midfield में देखा जाए तो like I don't know, like two defensive midfielders early on. Ragnick was playing Sadiq Bhai, and then he went away from playing both Fred and McTominay. Maybe it's a coincidence that Pogba is fit, and you obviously have to utilize Pogba. And once he's come, wow, trust me, Pogba has really impressed me, like he always does. But again, consistency is what he wants, right? So, do you think that is a way that you can say that okay, last two matches mein they've got wins? Maybe that is the main reason why they've got wins, because now they are kind of having more options forward, and they're having that one person in defensive midfield, who's basically doing the job. And why do you think he's going with Scott versus Fred?
Well, Scott tends to give you a little bit more of a physicality, and Fred technically defensively is not that solid. He was being played in that role out of a need rather than his fit over there. Even if you see him in the Brazil team, he plays behind a back two of Casemiro and Fabinho. That's why he shines so brilliantly over there, because he is technically a box to box or a 8, not a 6. When we pinhole him in that 6 position, his good traits tend to get cancelled out, and all that he cannot do comes out very evidently in front of you. And that's why then people start blaming him and not being fair to him. Actually, last game Fred was pretty revelationary, but again, as I mentioned, horses for courses wali cheez thi udhar bhi, that we had to use Fred in that game, because we were suddenly down. Not down, but we had lost a 2-goal lead. We needed a burst of energy in the field, and Fred, say what you may, he's an energizer bunny on the pitch, whether he's moving in the right direction or the wrong direction. So he brings that trait to the game, and on that day he was on song. But even then, Pogba was not having a bad game. It was just that we needed a bit of a change of a change of formation, a change of tactic. So that's why the addition of Fred and Elanga were so important in the last game. But coming back again to Paul Pogba, obviously he came back from injury, and since being used, his connection with Sancho on that left side, because Pogba tends to play left a left center midfield kind of a role.
Exactly, yeah. True.
So his connection with Sancho has been very good, and he plays very good link up play with Bruno as well. So having Pogba there sort of unlocks Bruno also for us. It allows Bruno to move with a sort of a free role, while Pogba can also link up with Sancho. And if you remember the game that Barca had against Atleti, Yes, one of the major component was the midfield, which is one of the best pressing midfields in the world right now that Barca has. De Jong, Gavi, Pedri. Yes, we don't have that level of pressing in the midfield, but another thing that unlocked the Atleti backline was the intricate passing between the midfield, and that's what Pogba brings when you connect him to Bruno and with Sancho. So we can unlock that low block that Atletico plays with key passes that Pogba can provide. He can be a very crucial mid to deep lying playmaker. So I would definitely go with Paul Pogba in this game to start.
You would? Interesting. Again, people in the chat, आप बोलिए आपका मिडफील्ड क्या रहेगा, क्योंकि एज एन वेरी वेल एक्सप्लेन अगेन सादिक भाई, लेकिन एक फिर भी काउंटर क्वेश्चन है फ्रॉम चिन्मय नाउ एथलेटिको मैड्रिड, आई नो हमने बात की इन टर्म्स ऑफ डार्क टैक्टिक्स एंड व्हाट नॉट, राइट? नाउ imagine if they have, like हमने देखा starting 11 of Atletico, possibly they'll have Kondogbia and Koke, and even Marcus Llorente is not less. So physically, they are right up there in terms of work rate ho gaya, in terms of just the strength ho gaya. So don't you think, considering that, I know Pogba is really as strong, like in terms of as in the energy, the overall package I'm talking about, would you not be tempted to go for a double pivot in McTominay and Fred in this particular
I'm sorry,
game?
Sadiq bhai. First counter. I don't want Pogba to start the game, and
Wow.
I'm going to give you a very big reason why. And this is not just out of nostalgia, but I feel the big Champions League wins we've had, say the PSG game last year at Parc des Princes. Yeah, if you have a look at that game, it was a double pivot, and Pogba came off the bench, and Pogba shone, and Pogba absolutely killed PSG off with a power pack performances last 15-20 minutes. And I just think, Paul Pogba is absolutely shining right now. Against Leeds, he was absolutely amazing. Physically he was great. He was unlocking defenses, 2-3 balls to Sancho, to Bruno. But I feel the double pivot you have, I think you need it in a game like this, where I know Fred's not that good defensively. Hence, I will never go with the single lone Fred. But I think you should probably, I would probably want a double pivot. I would probably want a double pivot with Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, exactly. And I'd want Pogba coming off and Pogba coming on the pitch. I'm sorry. And the thing with that is, because you have a player like Pogba who's going to be fresh, raring to go. Last 15-20 minutes, when you can actually grab a winner, you would want someone like Pogba coming on. And I feel if you play Pogba and McTominay, or say Pogba and Fred with the Bruno, we are very, very, attacking with that midfield, and that is not a problem. But the thing is, McTominay cannot handle the midfield alone. He cannot defend the midfield alone, and that gives chances to someone like Simeone, who is an old warhorse who knows how it's done. And we all know they are not going to come out all guns blazing. The reason we were able to perform so well against Leeds was because they came out all guns blazing, and we were able to go against them, attack and attack, and we won. But against a team which will sit back and just wait for us to, make that one mistake, pounce on that, I feel we should go with a double pivot. I'm not against Pogba starting, don't get me wrong here. I love Paul Pogba, he's been absolutely amazing. But I actually feel Pogba off the bench better option than, say, if we're 1-0 down or a 2-0 down, even if we're 2-1 down. And if I look at the bench and if I see, oh, I need to go to Fred to win me a game now or draw a game, I would rather be a 0-0 or a 1-0, and I would rather look at the bench and say, Paul Pogba, go out and give me a win out there. And I think that would be the kind of case tomorrow. And again, as I started off, Pogba Champions League night, he's done it before off the bench. So why not go with the same and old tried and tested tactic?
I'll use your explanation only to answer your question here, because see, had this been the Atletico of 2 years back, I would have definitely agreed with you without any questions. But having watched Atletico this year, sorry, they tend to have they've developed a bad habit, so to speak, which is technically good for us as United fans. They tend to be very vulnerable in the first 30-40 minutes. So as you said, that they have to, that as you mentioned, that Pogba just brings that criticalness to the field, and then he allows you to play. So why not do that in the first 60 minutes? Because Atletico has developed a bad habit this year, I was saying, of conceding goals in bunches. They did the same against, not only against Barca. I think they recently lost a game by 4-1 to one of the lower table teams as well. So in all those games, they tend to concede goals in a slot, basically, in like in bunches. You can hit them. So why not get Paul Pogba early on for say a 60-70 minute stretch, hit them hard, kill the game off in the first half itself, and then we can bring in our subs and just see the game off, especially when it is an away game.
I'd give you right back. I'd right back, and because we haven't been doing that. Pogba started against Middlesbrough, and we created 4-5 big chances. We scored one. Did that against Southampton, created 4-5 big chances, scored only one. I think the Leeds game is the only game I can tell you in the last 1 month where we've created more chances and also scored those chances. And that is exactly what is worrying me. I agree with you there. Okay, I agree with you. I say Pogba, we can go off from the start. We can go and win this game, and I would love that because that would basically mean we could only defend and sit back in the second half. That's perfectly all right. But the thing is, we have, and as the comment suggests, if you leave out the Brighton game and if you leave out the Leeds game, I know those are the two most recent games. But in the last 1 month, we haven't been playing that well in the second half, and I think someone like a Paul Pogba could change that. And that is, as I'm saying, I don't want, it's not like I don't want Pogba there. If Pogba starts, there is, of course, a very tactical reason for it. And Ralph Rangnick might have just got it right. He got all his changes right on, Sunday. And we have to give him a big up for that because a lot of people have been going after him. But I would probably use Pogba on the bench because why not sit back and defend? Fred suddenly is giving us a lot of goals and assists now. You're looking at the Brazilian Fred right now. And you already have Bruno Fernandes, you have already Sancho, Ilanga, we're talking about Ronaldo. I think Pogba, we could use him in the second half. That would be, my choice. And also because he's just come off an injury. And I think you need to rest that kind of a player, need to give him adequate timings because Sadiq bhai, our fixtures in March. We are looking at all the top teams and Atletico again. So I would probably, want Pogba to come off the bench, try to get a winner like he does, or try to assist. But if he does start from the off, well, you've got all your points right too.
Absolutely.
Again,
एक second. Sorry, I just take this comment. Like again, yeah, I know Sadiq bhai is now. We would love to take a lot of views about Barcelona as well or Chelsea. मैं खुद Chelsea अल्ट्रा बोलना चाहूँगा. Certainly, a lot of questions are coming up. लेकिन जैसे मैं बोलता हूँ, like let's try and stick to the topic for the timing. अगर time रहा तो I'm starting it and I'll certainly come back to these questions at the end of the stream. अभी के लिए, we are discussing the United game. We will come to obviously the Ajax game. हमने clearly discuss किया था. Lot of discussion went on about UA Chelsea yesterday, so do check out वो भी stream. लेकिन yes, let's continue the United talk. Yes, Sadiq bhai, please go ahead.
Just one last bit on the same. On the midfield thing. As you mentioned, the changes that Rangnick did was bringing Fred on in the second half and playing Pogba in the first. The two games that you're talking about were the ones where we played Pogba either for the full 90 minutes or almost took him till the end of the game, like 85th, 86th minute.
Look at the team in front of us, Sadiq bhai. Look at the team in front of us.
But the problem was that
they were not Champions League war horses who've done this before and who've gone the world.
But
that
they were
is my
lacking.
problem. Simeone has gone the world of results.
Why, if you have the horses and you have those assets with you, and you have a team like Atletico, who's vulnerable at the moment, why not finish them off? And then in the second half, where we become a bit lazy or call it what you may.
Only because we have not been like Fred, finishing them off.
Bring in a guy like Fred, to finish them off, who just brings the energy and doesn't let your team, sort of become very laid back and lackadaisical then.
एक और मैं बोलना चाहूँगा quickly. Sorry, लेकिन सादिक भाई, like because हम बात करें आपसे तो again Rodrigo de Paul, like he's एक और, I think in a strange way I would say underperform किया है Atletico Madrid में. Like हम Pogba की बात करें, I know nowhere close, we cannot really compare the two. लेकिन would it be fair to say like Rodrigo de Paul also हमने starting level में नहीं predict किया and he's not really started a lot of games. Is that the reason fairly because of the consistent level or it's just the ability?
No, I feel Rodrigo de Paul will start because I'm still thinking they will go with a 3-5-2 with a three-man midfield.
Okay.
That's what I think they will go for. Because what they will try to do is probably overwhelm Manchester United in the one place where they have not just a numerical superiority, but also a talent-wise, they are more superior overall, which comes to the midfield. So that's again where my Paul Pogba arguments comes in, because Pogba is a relatively, I mean, not a perfectly press resistant, but a relatively press resistant ball distributor, which you don't get with Fred. Fred off the ball is a very good presser, but if you have a team like Atletico, they will Atletico will play a similar style to what Spurs played against City in this game. They allowed City to come in and then with their midfield counter press them in the defensive phase and hit you on counters.
Okay.
That's the sort of game plan that I'm envisioning what Atletico will hit you with. So if there you have a relatively press resistant ball carrier and ball distributor like Pogba, Sancho is also press resistant and Bruno is also press resistant. So if you have that tandem there and just have a Scott McTominay as an auxiliary center back behind, like like a classic shielding CDM or an auxiliary center back sitting in
between number
between
4
your
and 5, basically
Hmm?
basically between number 4 and 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like him to play what we used to call a classic number 4, not a number 6 defender. I mean not a number 6 CDM, a number 4 CDM, basically. So if you play that, then you have him sitting in between Varane and Maguire, and you have a nice 3 shield, and you have your fullbacks who can also move up front. And if you have these press resistant ball distributors, you nullify the one area of strength which Atletico has on you, which is the midfield. Because on the wings with Sancho, Dallo, Telles, Elanga, or Rashford, whosoever you play, you can overwhelm this Atletico. I'm not talking about the Atletico of a couple of years back, but this
Yeah.
Atletico is highly vulnerable over the wings, especially what we saw the display by Adama Traore in that game. He was bullying the wings.
तो सादिक भाई now ये क्वेश्चन है बाय द वे ग्रेट क्वेश्चन कि ग्रीजमैन हम जानते हैं कि ही इज रियली अंडर अचीव्ड एंड गोइंग बाय रिपोर्ट्स लाइक एज इन वी हैड चिन्मय सेइंग दैट अबाउट ग्रीजमैन पॉसिबली नॉट स्टार्टिंग और वही लग रहा है मुझे भी ही बी ऑन द बेंच लेकिन what do you think Sadiq bhai Griezmann ke liye what is their best position like maybe a 4-3-3 floating wide man is that the best position in this Atletico team Felix and Griezmann have not fitted in back right.
Well, Felix and Griezmann technically overlap each other. That's the issue. So they both can't fit in the same. With Felix and Griezmann, it's the same conundrum with Griezmann that he used to have with Messi in Barca. Obviously not that level of a player but tactically, positionally, it's the same issue with Griezmann and Felix. Because if you see, even in the France team, his best position is behind the striker, behind Benzema. That's what he plays the best. So 4-3-3 with an attacking mid, or more of a 4-2-3-1 with an attacking option behind the striker is like his best position that he can play in those free spaces.
Like a Havertz, like हम बोलते आते हैं, we are still figuring out what is Havertz, best position is. And by the way, Chelsea perspective, yes, of course, Sadiq bhai, Chinmay both know their football, and of course, and then tactically, that's what I thought when Sadiq bhai is in the house. मैं वही सोचा यार we'll break it up into attack, midfield, and defense. And of course, Chinmay, we've been discussing lots. I remember the Euros where we discussed about the positions. So I thought this is the best conversation for tonight. Like midfield, like again, so I know that the panel is kind of split, but I'm guessing they are still inclined towards Pogba. मैं खुद Pogba को pick कर रहा हूँ. If I can kind of be the person voting, because I actually agree with Sadiq bhai that Atletico are there for the taking. They are literally there for the taking. And this is the night that away, if they're getting the win, United will be good in a couple of weeks' time. And I certainly see United going through. That has to be the approach. And of course, a lot of people in the chat as well.
All I can say is I would love it if Sadiq bhai can prove me wrong, because at the end, if Pogba starts and Pogba has a good game, all well and good. I just hope I hope I want to put this out right now. You can clip this whatever you want. I hope that we have the perfect game tomorrow. We have the best game tomorrow, and we win with a goal difference of, let's say, 2 or 3. And I'm going to give you a very good reason why. Because the second leg of Atletico is bang in between Spurs and Liverpool. Bang in between Spurs and Liverpool. We play Spurs, Atletico, Liverpool. And
Wow.
I do not want to play the likes of Ronaldo, Bruno, anyone. Or I don't want to play a key player in that game. I really want Old Trafford to see the youngsters, and I really hope we can finish them off right now. Because if we have to play, the best players, then Premier League goes for a toss. We can't handle playing, three top teams in top forms in that kind of environment. So I really hope we
Great
finish them.
call. No, no, I agree. And so, very interesting. Like in talking about defense, let's actually move to the defense. Because yes, there's a lot of debate going on. मुझे मालूम है United fans के बीच में, like in terms of Maguire, हमें faith रखना चाहिए, Varane, and even the fullbacks. Like so much talk. लेकिन coming back to you, Sadiq bhai, that weekend performance, any the way Lindelof has come back after, I know he had personal troubles recently, like in the way he has come back, and like we discussed, I think we did a watch along. Sadiq bhai was very much there. And what I understand is Lindelof does the simple things better compared to anyone out there at United. So against Atletico Madrid, आप चाहोगे नहीं कि mistakes हो, क्योंकि unless there are mistakes, I don't see Atletico scoring easily. So in a strange way, I would say Lindelof is a better bet, and Varane anyway is that world class player, has a Spanish football experience and knowledge. So, would you actually be tempted to play Varane and Lindelof for this game and drop Maguire, who actually sorry, not Maguire, Harry Maguire, who finally scored? What do you think, Sadiq bhai? No offense, no offense.
No, none taken. He hasn't given us anything this season for us to take offense on that.
True.
Anyways, coming back to it. Honestly, if you ask me currently on form, my personal back two would be Varane and Lindelof. That would be my personal one. But knowing that Harry Maguire is the club captain. He's coming off a pretty decent game where he broke our 142 corner drought of a goal from a set piece or a corner for that matter. So definitely Harry Maguire will be one of the starters. Now it comes to who will partner him in the centre back position. For that, on form, Victor Lindelof, it would be harsh on him to be dropped after the game he had against Leeds. But we also have to consider that was Leeds, a team that gave him those open spaces, gave him the chance to defend one-on-one. Even though against Atletico he would be pretty decent. But as you just mentioned, Rafael Varane has played against this team for the better part of his career now.
Yeah.
For the last decade, he has battled Atletico Madrid. Along with that, having a forward like Luis Suarez there, he has battled Luis Suarez at Barcelona and now at Atletico also for a long stretch of time. So he knows and understands that team very well. So having the experience of a Cristiano Ronaldo up front, who knows how to play this team, and a Rafael Varane at the back, along with a David De Gea who comes from Atletico Madrid origins, that would be very, very crucial to have on the game at that time. So I would go for a Maguire and Varane centre-back pairing. I mean, I would, as I said, Varane and Lindelof would be my centre-back pairing, but I would be seeing a Maguire and Varane.
Yeah, that's probably the one predicted, right? क्योंकि
Yeah.
एक और point है Chinmay, it's about basically great point by Sadiq bhai. Maybe they kind of overlap each other in the sense, हाँ, Lindelof can play anywhere. He's someone जो आपको defensive midfield भी खेला था in national team, and he can probably he's a better ball player kind of sense, and he can play probably left side of that center half. But Maguire is more naturally suited for that left centre back role. That might be one of the reasons as well why Maguire Varane is a better partnership. Or do you think Lindelof? What is your call, Chinmay?
I completely agree with whatever Sadiq bhai said. So on form, Lindelof and Varane any day. But Maguire, a lot of criticism he's had to face. Not only from the outsiders, but even from the United fans itself now. And a lot of people were saying that give the armband to Bruno or Ronaldo. They were calling for his head, and they were saying that he doesn't deserve to start. I think for tomorrow's game, perfect time for him to score that goal now, because now he basically says, "I am captain, and I will be playing now out of right." And I think physically he offers us something in the defense, because he scored that goal now. he also, now I can say he also offers something on the set pieces too, something I was not able to say for the 142 set pieces in between. And I think the biggest part of it is that we know how Ralph Ranick works. He basically tells the media his story. And I think, say 60, 65, 70 minutes onwards, if we are winning, I probably think Lindelof, with the form he's in, and 5 subs, I think Lindelof will probably come on for an attacker. And we'll probably go with a 5 back. So I think Lindelof is destined to probably see some game time tomorrow. Either Lindelof or Bai. I hope it's not Bai because I don't want him injured for the next 2-3 months again. I hope it's Lindelof on form too. And I think at the end of the day, Maguire, Varane start. That is what is going to happen. And Lindelof will, I think, come off the bench.
Okay, fair enough. Definitely substitutions है Champions League में जो use करेंगे for sure United. Talking about fullbacks, yeah, Sadiq bhai, please.
I just wanted to confirm with Chinmay, is Alex Telles available for tomorrow, or
He
are we
is.
still
He
going
is.
with Luke Shaw?
Alex Telles is available. I think that is why he did not play on Sunday. I think Telles and Dallo are going to be playing.
Because
okay.
one thing that I think Chinmay will agree with me, yes, Maguire has had his errors,
Yeah.
but the more you go back and analyze those games, he was put in that position to make that error because of Luke Shaw's absolutely pathetic positioning in defense.
And he's been showing it again and again and again. Now, listen, I love Luke Shaw. He's from England. I support England. Yeah, I support United. I love the season he had last year. But I'm telling you the truth. Last year was the season where he had a great attacking season, and he masked it. He masked all the defensive problems he's had with that attacking display. Now that he's not having that attacking display, fans can look back again at the defensive mistakes he's making. Fans can look back at the positioning he has, and as rightly said, everybody calls him Maguire's head. Same case in the in the striking force. Everybody calls him Ronaldo's head. There are some favorites who the media likes to target, the social media likes to target, and you don't look past the narrative. But I think absolutely agree, there is a reason why Alex Telles has been the primary left back for United for the last 2 months now. And the same goes to Diego Dallo. That is because Luke Shaw and the Aaron Wan Bissakas of the team have not been able to help out with that area.
Interesting. मतलब तो the panel has actually outvoted me. So looks like you guys are going for Alex Telles. Like I honestly did not know Alex Telles is fit. Yeah, I kind of agree there in the sense that recent weeks में दिख रहा है. Shaw लेकिन यार I think watch along में हमने देखा था सादिक भाई. Shaw brings that physical element to him. वो maybe might be required against Atletico. I thought क्योंकि यार वो physically
No, but
he's right.
trust me, if Thomas Lemar is shifted on that wing against him, or I would say even if Marcus Llorente, any
Yeah.
player with a serious football IQ is shifted on that wing, he will toy with Luke Shaw defensively. Because the mistake that Luke Shaw does is, see, when we are trained as in primary school to play football at the under 10 levels, what we are taught is always keep your man in front of you. Right? You have to be always behind your man. Later on, as we grow up, we are taught, okay, there is an offside trap that you have to play. You have to watch behind your shoulder runs. Luke Shaw, unfortunately, defensively speaking, is still stuck at that under 10 level. He always tries to keep his man in front, and that makes him completely out of position sometimes with the rest of his defensive line. He has messed up our offside traps. I don't know how many times, maybe 3 or 4 goals we have conceded in the last 2 months that have been because of him messing up the offside trap, leading to either Rafael Varane or Harry Maguire to do one of two things. Either to further fall back and narrow down the defense, which is a logical aspect that you have to do, or if you are a very good ball playing center back, you overcome it and go for that, but then you expect your CDM to cover for you on the back end. Unfortunately, here we have Scott McTominay, who doesn't has that positional sense either. Neither does Luke Shaw has that positional sense that in the first place, he should not have broken the offside trap, making our center backs to overcome it. And then your defense opens up from the middle, which is the worst possible thing you could do. You should ideally what you should do, if your defense has collapsed, the whole defense should fall inside and push the ball as far away from the goal as possible. I know it will give you space on the wings, but push the ball away from the goal. So
that's fair
due to
point.
these
Fair point.
issues, Luke Shaw,
I mean, you
if
can just
possible, I
look at
would not
what
keep him.
you can look at what Mo Salah did with Luke Shaw, right? Mo Salah took him home, did a hat trick, and just took him home 5-0. And I would, Luke Shaw was summed up that day because on 24th of October, if I'm not wrong, if that was the date, um, I could actually see that Luke Shaw just had a very good season last year, but that was 1-7 now, and it tells you how bad it really is for someone like Luke Shaw, because he's still, at least till 2 months ago, he was still the starting left back at United, but maybe that was only because there was no serious competition. And now someone really does want to give Alex Telles a job, and he's been performing. I wouldn't say he's not been performing. He's at least been keeping us in checks. And when Brandon Williams, when he comes back from that loan spell, Luke Shaw is going to have a serious time looking back at his United career for the future.
And
Absolutely.
as Chinmay mentioned about the Mo Salah game, I was reading somewhere and someone used a very apt adjective to define him that day. They said Salah used him as a cheap turnstile. He was turning him around again and again and again.
Yes, because again, like lots of kind of discussion on the possibilities of the starting 11. But again, this is what I went with. Clearly, I have been outvoted. So I'm assuming you guys are going to be changing Shaw with Tellis. That's what I'm understanding, right? At the end of the
Yeah,
thing.
well, I'd hope so. I'd hope so, to be honest.
Yeah. Correct. So I think great stuff there. Obviously goalkeepers, that is a battle in itself. क्योंकि as in David De Gea जो उसने बोला है कि यार मैं I think I'm from Atletico Madrid but I feel a man switch and all that. I don't know how controversial it is. Maybe वो Sadiq bhai, maybe it is a plea that make me the captain. No.
I think the make me the captain ship has probably sailed David De
Fail.
Gea, and it's good for him also because the English media was very brutal with him when he was given the captaincy for a few games earlier on. So I feel if he's in good form, let him not get into this mess and just continue being in the form that he is in right now.
Yes, yes. I agree with that as well. But Oblak, I don't know, like unlike him, I don't know. He's
I
really
just want to
making
point. I just want to point
yeah.
something out here. I just want to cut you in, but it takes a very big player, and that is what De Gea is. I'll tell you why. I quickly want to go back to 2015 when I remember when he was crying out and saying that I want to go to Madrid, and I'm telling you, only because of that facts mistake, Louis Van Gaal and De Gea didn't go to Madrid. But a failed move like that, and I'm pretty sure the player's career at the current club is over 99% of the times. But that tells you what a comeback De Gea has made. I still remember the first 2-3 games Romero started, but De Gea, he's come back. He's had two, huge seasons for United after that, and the way he's come back and actually won the fans over. There are no fans who probably say I hate De Gea or De Gea out. There are some fans for a very different reason because they want Henderson in, but there are no fans who call him a traitor or such. And that tells you the love De Gea has from United fans, and that tells you the love United fans have from De Gea. That is probably the comment was made, and at a very right time, 2 days before the Atletico game, and I'm pretty sure they would probably know now his real home is United.
I
Wow,
mean,
big call.
and if Ankit bhai
Yeah.
just permits me a little bit of Chelsea United banter here,
Bolo.
that's
Go
what
ahead.
separates that's what separates a David De Gea from a Thibaut Courtois.
I was knowing it like this is going to come, but I
And
am
it's
with you on that.
true.
I am with
It's
you.
true. It's true.
Exactly. I always do this, Sadiq bhai. Come on, like you know it. I've gone on record literally on every third stream about La Liga. कोटवा तो आना ही है और उसको यार गाली पड़नी है मुझसे. लेकिन having said that, like talking about goalkeepers, Oblak, मुझे लगता है उसका time आ गया है. At Atletico Madrid, he needs a fresh environment. That is what I feel. But Atletico Madrid ka main kind of weapon is Oblak. So I can also understand why he's been there. He's like really the linchpin. Let's get to the predictions. Very very close game potentially. High scoring हो भी सकता है क्योंकि दोनों के defenses having major problems. Sadiq bhai, what's your prediction? And people in the chat as well. Again, before you make your predictions, there are almost 30 people watching. I hope everyone has liked the stream. हाँ, आपको comment करने के लिए subscribe करना पड़ेगा, and that is the name of the game. We are heading there. The more people we have in future streams as well, it will help the channel. So yeah, it's just a press of a button. Doesn't take much. और comment करिए. It will not take anything away from you. And of course, thanks a lot for everyone who's joined. We'll be discussing other games as well, so do stay tuned. And yes, Sadiq bhai, over to you for the prediction. Atletico versus United आज.
For just one leg or both?
कल का leg के लिए करते हैं. That is one leg for now.
I don't know. I might sound a bit, too confident, but I seem to agree with your initial assessment. I see a 2-0.
Yeah, fair enough. 2-0 to United, obviously, for people wondering. Sadiq bhai
Yeah,
will not
2-0
go
to United.
Absolutely. What about you, Chinmay? That confident or
3-1.
not? That
I think 3-1 or 2-0. Something with a goal difference of 2. If we keep a clean
okay.
sheet away, beautiful. Now away goals doesn't matter, but it's only a confidence booster if we keep a clean sheet away.
And Ronaldo to get a brace.
I hope so. I hope he scores. And you said time about Oblak. Maybe it's Oblak's time, to go. I don't know. Even if Oblak was in the best form ever of his career, Ronaldo's always got the better of him. So I don't think form of Oblak matters for Ronaldo at this point of time.
Fair
I
enough.
see
Fair
Ronaldo
enough.
getting a goal, probably either through a set piece or a penalty.
Wow, interesting. But I think the key battle has to be like, come on, like in such a big game, Ronaldo, like you said, Ronaldo versus Oblak. If he gets the better of the Atletico defense, I think he'll be the key man. Like, let's be honest.
I think a lot of people are missing this. But Juventus versus Atletico, Juventus versus Sevilla. I'm sorry, Sevilla. If it was Valencia, I'm really sorry about that. But the first match he was in Spain for after he joined Juventus, they got him sent off in the 30th minute, if I'm not wrong.
I
And I
remember.
remember watching that game because the crowd turned on him, and the players they probably came out with the intent of getting him off early because, of course, well, no Ronaldo, no party. And I really think that United will have to, be aware of this because Simeone, the tactics he can resort to, and I really hope, if there is something of that sort, they will really want the crowd to turn. Crowds are back in the Champions League this season. They would really want the crowd to turn on United, and they need to, at least stay safe and not go after any fights because we saw against Leeds the last 2-3 minutes of the game. McTominay, Fred, everybody was at it. And I really hope, someone like a Ronaldo or a Pogba or a Bruno, they can keep their calm and, not get carded for no reason.
इंटरेस्टिंग. हाँ, मतलब अगेन लॉट ऑफ रोनाल्डो फैक्टर विल कम इनटू पिक्चर. लेकिन हाँ, मुझे ये लगता है ना, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट्स अ चैंपियंस लीग नाइट. दीज आर नाइट्स वेयर स्टार्स आर मेड फॉर. एंड हाँ, बाय द वे, हम ऑलमोस्ट 1 घंटा बात कर लिए मेनली फॉर यूनाइटेड. मैं चेल्सी के गेम के बारे में इतना बात नहीं करता हूँ. एंड दैट इज व्हाट यूनाइटेड ब्रिंग टू यू, एंड एथलेटिको एज वेल. क्योंकि यार ये दोनों टीम्स जो टॉपसी टर्वी फॉर्म में है ना, देयर इज सो मच काइंड ऑफ सब प्लॉट्स हैपनिंग, स्पेशली विद रोनाल्डो, सिमियोने एंड व्हाट नॉट. And yeah, certainly we'll have to move on because yes, there is another game tomorrow. And by the way, people again watching, हमने cover किया था आज रात के games. We took a quick prediction at the beginning of the stream as well from the panel. We'll come back to that if time permits. Lekin let's move on to the other games in the Champions League as well as the Premier League. So Benfica, Ajax. So let me put a couple of stats here. By the way, Benfica, them getting a new manager, Jorge Jesus, finally moving on again. For me, बहुत ही kind of surprising. Despite I think they're third in their league, very difficult situation that they were in because Jorge Jesus is their talisman. लेकिन mutual consent से he moved. So I think again there are stories of Benfica possibly being some match fixing links and stuff like that. So there is more to it and not just result because Jorge Jesus, he's like the Benfica. He kind of defines Benfica. So it was very surprising for me after having beaten Barca, and I know Sadiq bhai, we wouldn't want to remember that. Lekin they beat Barca 3-0. They I think drew Barca 1 also. They eventually on head-to-head went ahead. They came second in the group versus Ajax. Wow, Ajax has been the team of the tournament. Like it will not be any surprise. बोला जाए तो यस, आप बोल सकते हो कि मे बी लिवरपूल, मे बी बायर्न म्यूनिख, लेकिन कोई एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था अयाक्स से. एंड नॉट जस्ट द टूर्नामेंट इन चैंपियंस लीग, इन एरिडीवीजी आल्सो दे आर काइंड ऑफ इजीली विनिंग एरिडीवीजी दिस साइड. I don't see any kind of as in a potential opposition coming up and beating them in their league. A lot of players have performed, but Sebastian Haller, I think he scored in all the 6 games. Wow, that is something. But talking about scoring, Benfica, October से, this is very interesting. October से there has not been a single match in any competition जहाँ Benfica score नहीं की है. That is something outstanding for me क्योंकि we will expect a goal fest. Ajax scores for fun. Benfica have scored almost in every game, uh, and their form hasn't been good. Their defense hasn't been good. Ajax has been great defensively, so something has got to give. Sadiq bhai, what is your call? I know on paper Ajax are favorites.
Well, I
Lekin,
have someone who started watching football because of the Cruyffian philosophy at Barca. So I definitely have a soft corner for Ajax when it comes to it. But and the way they have been playing, they have been absolutely brilliant. And I would even not be surprised that if Ajax doesn't suffer any injuries to any of the key players, they might even go on to lift the trophy. They have that good a squad this year because that team plays in a proper system. The 4-3-3 Cruyff system, it has got all the components to it. You have Anthony, Haller, and Dusan Tadic up front. And yes, people do talk about Haller not performing when he was at West Ham. But did he have the same quality around him at West Ham? You give him a defense with Lisandro Martinez and Jurien Timber, who are two of the most sought out centre backs by all English teams,
yeah,
flanked by Al Mazrui and Tagliafico. And I forget because Tagliafico is out of favor right now. There's the other left back. I can't recall his name right now. You have a midfield double pivot of Edson Alvarez and Ryan Gravenberch. And Gravenberch, people are saying 25-30 million. If he's going for 30 million, I would.
oh, steal,
I mean,
steal,
he's a steal at 50.
absolutely.
Just state that. He's even a steal at 50 million. He's that good. And Edson Alvarez, I would be. I mean, if the Manchester United board is somehow hearing us here, he's away. His market price is 15 to 20 million. He's a proper, how do we say in Hindi, he's a Latmar kind of CDM that we need. Get him. And he's only 24. He's going to be there for at least 7-8 years there. He's the perfect.
I think they'll listen to you and they'll listen to me and they'll listen to all of us if the manager comes across our way. And
And even
there
if
are
they get
talks.
Eric Ten Hag.
Exactly.
If United gets Ten Hag in the summer,
If you've got Ten Hag in the summer, well, you can
get Mazrui and get Edson Alvarez.
you can
Because
get
Mazrui is
exactly
free.
the point.
Mazrui is free this summer. Tagliafico is free this summer. And you have got Edson Alvarez. You have got United's three main issues sorted out.
And it would be a perfect gift if we could get Edwin van der Sar to work across with Ranić. Perfect birthday gift, I think, for all United.
And wishful thinking, come on, Chinmay. वो थोड़ा wishful thinking हो गया, लेकिन I hear you.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think that is fine.
honestly, but just a very, very small thing. If we get Ten Hag, wow, because you can see a preview of this match I'm going to give you. You can see what he's doing with Ajax. He's got players underperforming in different leagues, but
Yeah.
performing at the top of their cylinders, for him. And
अरे goalkeeper
really
में
assembled. I think the biggest thing people are not noticing is that, and I have 2019 Ajax semi-final. They had a very, very good squad, and a lot of players from that squad left, and they're still, as Sadiq said, if no injuries happen to them, I think this match is the two matches. These two teams are the ones looking from the outside. Apart from that, every single team you've got, every single tie you've got, there is one or the other is a favorite. These two teams not favorites at all, and I think sometimes in a tournament like this, that is what works for a team. If you're not a favorite when you are playing these games, not a lot of focus on you, and you can go across your way and challenge for the most topmost title.
100%. Like I would like to add quickly about the squad. Like इतने options है Ajax के पास. Goalkeeper की बात करो, so I think 38-year-old Pasveer, he's been great. Like मैंने actually stream किया था after all the 6 games of the group stage. I would say he's one of the most underrated keepers in the Champions League this season. और Onana, who was basically suspended at the time, अभी available है. So it's a very as an interesting conundrum that as in Ten Hag has, and I think Tadic बहुत ही underrated player.
Stecklenburg also, right? Sorry.
Exactly.
Even
Stecklenburg is
Stecklenburg is
injured though. He's injured though, but I hear you. Like lot of options. Tadic, Sadiq bhai, Tadic. Why do you think like Tadic hai, Blind hai? Don't you think they left too early Premier League se?
Yeah, Blind though, honestly, I will put the blame on our United fans also. We were pretty harsh on him.
Mm-hmm.
We did not understand what an asset he could have been to the United team. because it was that Louis Van Gaal time when we were really pissed off at Van Gaal and his style of play, and Blind was one of his. I mean, like he was basically his teacher's pet, so to speak, because he understood that style of play very well, and so the
True.
fans took out their frustration of Van Gaal on Daily Blind also a little bit. So I feel, uh, and in that environment, and then he also had the medical issue following that. So Daily Blind sort of went very much under the radar. I mean, he's one of the players who, even at this age, is one of the first names when tournament. So that tells you how good of a glue player he is. He's like the system glue, that keeps it working.
एब्सोल्युटली. अच्छा, एक एक बंदा है, बेनफिका की बात कर लेते हैं. आई नो वी आर काइंड ऑफ टेंडिंग टुवर्ड्स आयाक्स एंड यूनाइटेड टॉक्स, और आई डोंट नो इफ बाय चांस देयर इज एनी बेनफिका फैन, नो ऑफेंस, लेकिन हाँ, दे हैव अ ग्रेट टीम एज वेल. लाइक आई सेड, वी स्पोक अबाउट द मैनेजर, लेकिन आई थिंक जूलियन वीगल, वन ऑफ द सॉट आफ्टर मिडफील्डर्स जो बेनफिका में है, लाइक ही इज वन हु इज ऑन अ येलो along with four other people. I think Grimaldo, unke left back, he's on a yellow as well. Otamendi himself is on a yellow. So they have to
Is
be.
Tara on a yellow? If I'm not wrong.
Pardon me?
Tara, I think he's on a
No,
yellow too.
no, Taarabt is fine. I think it's João Mario, Rafa Silva, Alex Grimaldo, Otamendi, and Weigl. 5 players here. Or Seferovic might be a doubt, which has been a problem in the recent games. So I know I said that they score for fun, but it might be a slight issue. I don't know about Benfica actually having the players. So in a strange way, at home they might have to just go for it. This is the match where they might get. I'm pretty sure at least 2 of those 5 bookings milenge unko. So that is something that I'm pretty sure they have to go for it, and that's why I have actually predicted a high scoring game. Again, people in the chat, क्या लगता है? Benfica versus Ajax, बहुत potential है on paper to be a classic in terms of the scoring. But Sadiq bhai, what's your opinion about the score line?
Well, if Ajax is fully fit, and saying the same about Benfica, because so far as the stat you said, that since October or early November they have scored in every game, but then the defenses they have played have not been some of the best defenses out there, except say maybe the Bayern defense that they played in the last game of the Champions League. But then Bayern was playing a very open game in that match, and they had already qualified, so the squad that they played was also not that. I mean, they did not come with a full strength squad for that game as well. Other than that, Benfica has not played the quality of defenses that Ajax brings to the table. But again, with the offense that has, some really good players in it, I would go for a 4-1 Ajax win.
Wow. I think you're saying the tie will be almost over.
Yeah, if Ajax is fully fit, because we still have doubts whether Gavin Birch is available or not, because if any one of those midfield 2 is missing, I could easily see it being a more cagey affair, and say a 2-1 would be a more realistic score line then in favor of Ajax. But if Ajax is fully fit and all the players are available, it's going to be easy win for Ajax.
I know Timber came off injured at the weekend, so that will be interesting with the defense. But
I think
again,
that was more of he had a caution, like he had a knock and they just precautionary took him off.
Okay, fair enough. Then yeah, I think then you're right. Probably they have their squad for sure. Lekin I think I don't know, like in terms of Benfica again a curse bhi hai. I know people who know out there. Benfica has got a curse all those years ago. Check out Benfica's history. They do have the history just like Ajax. That they'll never ever win the European competition, and that's actually continued for years and years and years. And that's something that Benfica have to live with. I think maybe. What is your prediction, Chinmay?
I was going for 4-1 myself, and I think 4-1 or because high scoring Champions League 4-2. But I think Ajax is going to win it healthily, and I don't see. You look at Ajax, you look at how Dortmund won the match for them, you look at how Sporting won a match for them. I hope something changes, but I see Ajax completely battering Benfica tomorrow.
Great point. By the way, just last chat dena chahunga about Ajax in particular. I think Sadiq bhai nailed it. Like away they have been impeccable. Not just away, like generally 10 wins on the trot in all competitions. But away, I think last they had lost to Liverpool, and that was in 2020. So in the Champions League, that is right. So great. And by the way, Rivaj, thanks for joining. A lot of people join late, lot of times. लेकिन क्या होता है ना, हम बहुत सारे चीज already discuss कर चुके होते हो. We cannot kind of repeat because otherwise we'll go a whole night, right? That's why I would request you, please do check out the stream after we are done. Not just this stream, last night, क्योंकि हमने discuss किया था tonight's games as well. So do check that out because we had discussed about United, Chelsea, Juventus, and whatnot, right? Okay, so I think Chinmay has just confirmed that Koke is out. We saw in the comments as well. Wow, good for United. That's what I would say, simply put, because already I think Kafi players missing here. So again, like that's something that maybe Villarreal is going to use against Juventus. Maybe United will use it to their advantage.
But then Koke has not been having a very good season, so that could have been inversely beneficial to us.
Beneficial. Exactly. लेकिन वही है ना यार, Koke is your hard hitter in terms of the midfield. So he is your player that you want in such big nights. But I hear you for sure. But again, a lot of people watching. Do like the stream. Do subscribe. Just press of a couple of buttons. Check out the description below. Chinmay's link is there. Do give him a follow. He knows his stuff. I know him for a very long time. Chinmay, I know, a man of banter, but a man of knowledge in terms of Manchester United and English football. And Sadiq bhai, of course, like introduction ki motaj, nahi hai Sadiq bhai. Simply put, Barca ki talks, yeah, we'll come back. A lot of comments there, but today we'll stick on to UCL and EPL. So let's move on to EPL. EPL में I think we are having a few fixtures this midweek as well. I think tomorrow as well. तो Burnley Tottenham, we'll take quick predictions क्योंकि काफी देर से बात कर रहे हैं. तो सादिक भाई, Burnley versus Tottenham after that big historic win against Man City, they can do a Spurs and maybe Burnley, high scoring Burnley. What do you think?
That's what I was about to say. It was even historic for Burnley as well. They're scoring 3 goals. So,
100%.
Well, I think things will come back. As much as I hate to say it, I think things will sort of come back to normalcy because the last weekend was completely crazy. Seeing all that, all that was going on in the league. I think it would be a 2-1 Tottenham win with Burnley being Burnley as usual as they are. So,
Okay.
although I would be very happy if Burnley can pull out a draw or maybe even defeat Tottenham for that matter. But I don't see it happening, especially after the high of that big win and Harry Kane rounding into form. I think a 2-1 Tottenham win is what I see.
Interesting. Chinmay, quick prediction. Burnley Tottenham. What's the difference between
1-1? They'll slip, and I think Tottenham being Tottenham, you just did say it right now. And I saw the Burnley game against United about 2 or 3 weeks back. I saw how the new signing Weghorst was playing, and he's a side for the Premier League. He's quite tall. He can make those runs, and I think he'll give them something to think about. I probably think 1-1, maybe even going for a Burnley upset. You never know. Because it's only the most Spurs and the most Arsenal thing to go defeat the league leaders and then lose to someone like a Burnley.
100%. I have to agree with you. No pun intended. Spurs, you'll agree, like Spurs fans on that. That's a fact. Blake and Conte, let's see if we can change the mentality so quickly. I doubt it. Like, let's see. But again, they have the class. Burnley, like Chinmay said as well, right, about Weghorst. A Dutch fan, no secrets there. Weghorst has been one that, a lot of big clubs have missed out on. Literally, wo ek tha banda. He has a potential. For some strange reason, no big club has gone for him over the years. I don't know. But anyway, Burnley ka interestingly, like they have games in hand. So I don't know. Like, do you see anyone of you in the panel or chat sees Burnley escaping a big escape? No. Because
Everton needs to take care. Right.
Because
first thoughts go to Everton. Because
see,
Burnley,
I would go out on a limb and say I see Norwich, Everton, and Leeds taking the drop.
Oh wow, that's a big call, Sadiq bhai, because Leeds they are playing Liverpool away. हाँ वही ले लेते Leeds की बात हो रही तो I think four matches non-stop that they've not won now Leeds. So there has to be something. I don't know. Bielsa is not going to change. हमें पता है. So what needs to change against Liverpool? Seen Liverpool recently. Liverpool have obviously that big weekend match. By the way, हम live है almost daily this week, but especially on that Friday because Friday हम cover करेंगे. Chelsea was Liverpool big Carabao Cup final, so definitely join karna. Yes, Sadiq bhai, go ahead.
Well, I see Leeds definitely taking the drop against Liverpool again this week because Marcelo Bielsa's style, as we all know, it's a very, it's sort of the OG heavy metal style that Liverpool plays. It's the original version of that, so to speak. So now the team that he had, that he got promoted, they did not add much to it, and the players have like sort of grown tired. They've grown completely exhausted of that system. So it's just basically the same old, that Bielsa system takes its toll on you after a few years.
Yeah, but that's really a brave call, I must say, about Leeds, because Leeds have goals in them, but again, leaky defense. What's your prediction, Chinmay? Liverpool versus Leeds?
I think two big topics. Leeds, I think Bielsa isn't changing, and you have a look at how they played against United. You have a look at how they play against any top team. They just don't know how to change tactics. They just want to go and attack. It's as if they're giving the fans some entertainment. They don't want to win or lose. They just want to give some entertainment. But that doesn't work in the Premier League. And the biggest point for me is not Leeds here. I'm going to talk about Liverpool, because this is the last match they play before a big final. Number one, and number two, they're not playing on the weekend. City is, so they do want to throw a statement of intent to Pep Guardiola. I really think they really want to go out at Anfield and win this game. Probably tell City that the title challenge is still alive.
Yeah, and by the way, talking about Leeds players, Rafinha, हम बात किए थे watch along में सादिक भाई. Maybe Rafinha is just that player who's going to move, and that's maybe one of the reasons why slowly but steadily देख रहे Bielsa phasing him out. I don't know. I can see him definitely moving. Chelsea के साथ बहुत strong links है. I can see him doing well. Like honestly,
There were links of him joining Bayern. There were links of him joining Bayern in January. I'm not wrong. I remember January first week I read that Bayern was secretly negotiating a deal with Rafinha. I feel Rafinha is a great footballer, got a hell of a left foot there, and I just hope the Premier League can see more of him, because I don't want another. He isn't as bad as Haller was for West Ham, but I just hope we don't let another big star in the making go away from the Premier League.
What do you say, Sadiq bhai?
Well, I see Rafinha leaving if Leeds takes the drop this year, because if Leeds drops down to the Championship, they will need his. I mean, the money they will get from him to sustain their squad, so that they can mount a challenge for promotion again the season after. So definitely
100%.
Rafinha and a player of Rafinha's quality will definitely not play in the Championship.
Yeah, 100%. I think Baki matches, by the way, there's a London derby as well. There's actually Watford versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, yes, Chelsea just about beat them. They didn't take their chances. Gallagher might be back, the talisman for Crystal Palace this season at least. So I don't know if that's basically a chunk in the armor that they really wanted. Because surprisingly, Vieira, he's actually on a bad run of form in the recent weeks. So probably Watford is the right team to play. Watford, I think both of you would agree they are probably going to be dropping, right?
Yeah, but they pulled out a result last week. I mean over the weekend they pulled out a result, because the
Yeah,
lower
but
end
again,
teams they are so close to each other. If you see, I think there is barely a 6-point gap between number 18 and number 14 or something, or number 13. So one result here and there completely changes the bottom half of the table.
yeah, absolutely. But that's interesting. Again, quick prediction there in the London derby. Sadiq bhai, Watford, Crystal Palace,
A draw.
draw.
A draw. Both will
Chinmay?
play safe.
Well, I think Palace, being Palace, a homely team, yeah, I think they probably grind out results somehow to survive the drop. Watford don't do that. Watford every second or third year they go down, come back up again. So I really feel Palace might just get that one invisible win they always kind of do to survive the drop this year again. So I think they probably win tomorrow.
Right. And by the way, talking about as in clubs dropping potentially, as in top four, we just spoke about it. But I think two teams which have really gone under the radar, not really those teams where the media has somehow not spoken about enough, is basically Wolves and Arsenal. Now, Wolves and Arsenal are actually playing each other. It's at, if I'm not wrong, at Arsenal. So it's probably going to be a 6-pointer. I know Arsenal have a game in hand, but अगर Wolves जीतती है Arsenal के साथ, so you can definitely say the Wolves are definitely there, Sadiq bhai. What do you think?
See, Wolves are definitely there because of the defense, but what they lack is what they showed in the last game against Arsenal. When even Arsenal went down to 10 men, they were not able to break them down. So
Yeah.
Wolves
1-0,
don't have
right?
an offense. they have a +5 goal difference, but they've conceded only 18, but they've scored only, 23 goals. They've scored less than 1 goal a game. So Wolves don't have goals in them. That's the only thing. Although this week, I mean, for the Arsenal Wolves game, I would be completely be behind the Wolves, because if United needs to have, if they need to consolidate the number 4 spot, we do need Arsenal to drop points. Spurs, yes, they pulled out the win against City, but we know that Spurs has that tendency to drop points every now and then. Arsenal is not showing that tendency against teams which are near them or below them in the table. Unlike United, unlike Spurs, where we are dropping points against teams which are lower down, like we drop points against Newcastle, we drop points against Burnley. Same with Spurs. Arsenal is not doing that. So we need a team like Wolves to pull out a win against Arsenal, howsoever it may be. I would be going for that, but at this current form of Arsenal, it doesn't look like it. But I would definitely be hoping for a Wolves win.
Okay, I thought you'll go for a draw, but yeah, as in because that's the best case scenario, right, for United. Like, realistically, probably
So in
you're
Arsenal,
right.
You're talking about United. I want to put this out there, Ankit, and I really want to put this out there. You're not too safe, because if United get past the Chelsea, and I'm not saying it will happen, but if we do, there is a very big gap between third and second, but there isn't such a big gap between third and say sixth or third and seventh. And I think that is something which tells you, because the teams from fifth to seventh, they have the games in hand. The Arsenal with the game in hand, Wolves, Spurs, and I think really that tells you is that I really think third and fourth is up for grabs, and not just by United. I think United, Chelsea, say the likes of Wolves, Spurs, Arsenal. I know they're all banter clubs, but if somehow one or two, they pick up their performances, you never know. Chelsea and United are both in the race. So I think we could see what we saw at the end of last season, and more importantly, what we saw in the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first year, 2019. That was a really big top four race where all four teams could finish third and fourth, and this is what happens again. And you're very much in the race. All I'm concerned with. If you do say win the next, yeah, I mean, if you do win the next 2-3 games, I don't think we have anything to worry about. But
I would just.
You need your pace fighting.
I would just disagree a little bit here when it comes to Chelsea, because what I've seen is in the last 4 or 5 weeks, yes, Chelsea is not been playing well at all, but they have a good habit of grinding out results. A goal here, a goal there, and they're just pulling out those points.
If they're able to do that for the next 2-3 weeks, all well and good. But if there is one or two slips out there, well, you've got a whole pack of wolves wanting to come in your seat. Not Wolverhampton, I'm saying, the wolves in the same. And I really think, I hope that, I can only hope that a dream as a Premier League fan that, someone like a West Ham, someone like a Wolves, they come up in the top four, or at least give that fight at the end of the season, because it will bring the feeling that there are teams who can challenge the agenda, and there are teams and there are teams who can actually go ahead and sustain a full season fight. So as a football fan, I'd really want that, to be honest.
I don't know. I have a bad gut feeling that that slip that you're talking from Chelsea is coming tonight.
Well,
I don't know. I have.
Well, then, no. I mean, that actually works out for them pretty well. I mean, I don't want to be very negative for Chelsea here, but if they do slip, say they do go out of the Champions League somehow, gives them all the more time to get roaring back against Liverpool on Sunday.
I'm not saying them going out of the Champions League at this round. I'm saying they may slip up a 1-0 here and then take a 2-0 victory.
I think the winner of today's tie wins the tie. I think I really don't think there is going to be a comeback story here, because
I'm seeing a weird turnaround here. I'm seeing a Chelsea 2-1 over 2 legs, but I'm seeing a 1-0 tonight for Lille and a 2-0 for Chelsea in the away leg.
Interesting. Okay, then let's end the stream on that note, because yes, a lot of basically predictions here, and that's what opinions are. We as football fans love opinions, और हम discuss कर सकते हैं पूरे रात, लेकिन हाँ, we have, like you guys alluded to, we have basically very two huge games, especially the Chelsea fan, like after getting that recent glory back in Champions League. Trust me, like हम off screen बात करते थे सादिक भाई, for Lille, this will be the World Cup final और वो जाएंगे आज रात को and I can kind of get why most of the neutrals जा रहे हैं कि for a potential upset आज रात especially because recent run जो रहा है Chelsea का लेकिन again knowing Chelsea knowing these nights suddenly say Pablo Escobar comes up and he scores a winner that is what we are like unfortunately let's be honest like those clutch players are something that we have United have a lot of them as well. So you'll be hoping that you'll have some of them, just wake up for tomorrow. But yes, again, thanks a lot. जो भी join किया है, yes, दिव्यांश भाई unfortunately join नहीं कर पाए आज, लेकिन he has promised he'll be back very soon. आप देखिए ये बहुत बार आ चुके हैं, and he'll be back. Certainly love his views about United, about Madrid and whatnot. Maybe for the Madrid match he'll be back. लेकिन of course चिन्मय आप चेक करिए description. He is basically a United fan. He knows the stuff. Do give him a follow. But Sadiq bhai, love to hear you always, especially the tactical discussion wala. Hats off, brother. And hopefully हम watch along करेंगे. I know watch along we have spoken, we've had a deal कि मेरे Sadiq bhai की kind of tuning है in terms of watch along. So we'll do a lot of watch alongs together. लेकिन definitely you're as in just listen to Sadiq bhai all day. That's what I would say to everyone watching. Any last comments, Sadiq bhai?
No, but just that I hope it's a Chelsea United UCL final and then we have a very nice watch along together.
Wow. That'll be interesting, by the way. Yeah, then definitely, Ziyech, Charlotte can be a great combination. Wishful thinking, or that's something that we'll be discussing transfers hopefully in the coming, months for sure. Like, again, thanks a lot, Sadiq bhai. Chinmay, any final words from you, brother?
Viva Ronaldo. Viva Ronaldo. That is all I want to say.
Well, for tomorrow, yes, but yeah, आज के लिए I think let's stick with up the Chelsea. But yeah, hopefully, like Sadiq bhai said, the best case scenario would be United Chelsea final. But yeah, let's take one step at a time. Certainly, both our clubs are really not there yet. We'll get there.
Two clubs out of four, the English clubs are already, City is already through. Liverpool, I don't think I don't think they need to see a comeback. So let's just hope, both the teams today and tomorrow go through, and we could actually see an All England semi-final or a final, something of that sort.
Yes, of course. And by the way, people shout out to Football Medico, चिराग का चैनल काफी लोग जानते होंगे अभी तक. Hopefully नहीं जानते हो तो check out Football Medico. हम actually live है 12:30 बजे आज Indian Standard Time at yes, that is discussing about Chelsea's game in particular. और of course UA game भी हम discuss करेंगे. Pre-match और watch along बाबा के चैनल पे, Drog बाबा के चैनल पे. Please do join us. That is at 1:15, of course. Nervous times as a Chelsea fan, so Chelsea gang are getting together. Hopefully आपको अच्छा लगे. लेकिन हाँ, we would like your support as well. And of course, on Almighty Blues FC, हम कल same time almost रहेंगे live. Yeah, actually 9:30. कल 9:30 बजे live है 9:30 IST. That is for the big Napoli, Barca and other Europa League fixtures. Sadiq bhai, you're always invited. आपको time रहा तो definitely step on. We do have Vinayak hopefully joining us and AKG for the first time. So that will be fun. बहुत अच्छा conversation रहने वाला है. And of course, check out our listings because big Carabao Cup final. मैं तो big बोलूँगा. Certainly being a cup final against Liverpool, we are having Menace in the Monk. So do check out that as well. We'll have some fun talk there as well. Lot of live streams coming on. So do press that bell notification icon. Like and till next time, take care. We'll be back hopefully with a Chelsea win or up the Chelsea.